Hello, while I'm working on between steps 2 and 3, I thought I'd go over a little bit of the stuff I use. Nothing is sponsored. This is just my stuff. You can take it for what you want, but I thought I'd at least give you guys insight into how I do things because, well, maybe I'm being vain. I don't know. So the first thing that I noticed and I wanted to bring up is we did those plugs in the last episode, and I went through and sanded this down, and there are divots in here. And if you look, there aren't any on these two plugs here, but there's a divot here, there's a couple of divots here, divot in there. So what that tells me is that the Tamiya putty that I used right here, basic type putty, put it on there, it's fairly hot. The stuff that's in there is going to really pull at the plastic that gets put on there. Not a bad thing, just a word of warning. So I use that as my base. I will also use the old Squadron green putty if if you can still find it. That seems to be kind of an age-old, long gone product now. But put that on, and then yeah, here's a good example right here. Just kind of smeared it in to fill up all the spots. I will then go in with my number 11 blade and just start getting the worst of the putty off, because I'm not doing this really thin. I didn't know how much this was going to shrink, didn't want to worry about it. I'm using this to fill in, and I'm not going to go through the whole aspect of cleaning this off live here because it's boring. But as you can see, I'm just working my way through, trying to keep it flat with the blade so that I'm not digging grooves into the plastic and that. So a product that I use, I picked this up at Walmart. It's just a foam block with grit on it. In this case, it's 60 grit on this side, 80 grit on this side, 60 grit on this edge, 80 grit on this edge. You can, the small amount of non-covered kind of gives you the idea. Then go in there and use this to level it out. Not so much in there, but I've used it in here, and it just makes for a nice tool. Other people use sanding sticks or make their own items, but you know, this does the job. Same with other areas right here. So between the knife to get a lot of the bigger stuff out, and then using the 60 grit, and if I need to, I'll go down a bit to the 80 grit. I even have one with the 120 and the 180 as I feel the need for it. I've got a series of files as well for smaller areas. Anything to just kind of get this down level, make it look good. But even when that's done, this is still really bumpy. That putty has settled in and created divots, and that's going to look just as bad as if we had done nothing. So to deal with it, I'm going to use this as a spacer. I've got the Vallejo plastic putty. What I like about this is it's acrylic resin, and what I'm going to do now, since it's just the smaller areas, is just fill in where the holes are, where the little divots are that I kind of feel. Where's the problem? The nice thing about this acrylic, or this being acrylic, is that it dries real fast, especially compared to the normal putties. But having not used this a lot, I don't know how sandable this is going to be after it's done, so we're going to find that out in the next episode when I finish this up. And feel along here, yeah, there's a little bit that could use some work. I'll just fill this up, kind of like that. In here, and this will be the test that I use for going forward, if this method is how I like. But again, this just gives you the rough idea of how I'm taking care of some of these problems that we were talking about. I'll clean that up and get a little bit on there. So again, just a real quick note, and again, nothing sponsored, so use whatever you like. Leave any comments in the discussion area about the putties that you like or you think work really, really well.